I'm Laura, and this is going to be a quick seated hip opening practice next to the Lotus Shrine. So we'll start out in a comfortable seated cross-leg position of your choice, and then we're just going to warm up with some circles. And you can give a little bit of pressure onto the knees with your hands to keep them from popping up too much as you go around. Give yourself a little bit more stability and grounding into the pelvis. As you make this circle, think about the way that the heart is moving over the top of the pelvis. And we'll take a little pause and switch to the opposite direction. So let's take the left leg out first, and then we'll stack the right leg on top if you can. So the shins are about on top of each other. Sometimes we call this square pose or fire log pose. And maybe just sitting like this up straight is giving you some good opening in your right hip. If you feel like you have more space, go ahead and walk yourself forward. But trying to keep the back really straight and long. If your knee is really high up and you feel like it's a little bit too much stretch, go ahead and take like a pillow or a rolled up blanket and put it right underneath this knee to give it some support. It's going to take a little bit of the intensity out of the pose. We'll stay here for a few more breaths, working on lengthening the front of the spine as you hinge forward from the hips and just softening into it. The hips take a little while to open, so you really have to be patient with them. One more deep breath. And we'll come back up. And then we're just going to take the feet a little wider than hip distance and sway them side to side. Loosens up the lower back, which is really strongly connected to what your hips are doing. And then we can switch. We'll lay down the right shin first. Try to stack the left shin directly on top of it. And again, if you need something under here, you can put a pillow or a rolled up blanket or a yoga block if you have one. And we start out just lifting through the front of the body. Make the spine really long, because we're focusing on the hips. We don't want to lose our posture in the spine. If you feel like you have more space, go ahead and come forward. But if sitting straight like this is giving you good hip opening, feel free to stay there. Every deep breath, find a little bit more softness. Maybe as the hips open, you find that you have more space to come forward. But if you do, make sure that you keep the belly really long. If you start to crunch in the belly and lose your space here, you know that you're pushing pressure back into your lower back. So that's our indicator. Make space in between the belly button and your pubic bone. One more deep breath. And slowly come up. We'll open the feet out again and sway side to side. Okay, let's stretch the left leg out and we'll pull the right knee into the chest. Give it a really good hug. Use your arm strength to press the belly and the thigh together. Cross the right foot over to the outside of the left leg. Wrap your left arm around and give it a good pull in toward your chest. There's this line into the shoulder. Now I'm going to lean back just slightly into my left sitting bone. And what this is doing is lengthening that outer hip area right there. Release that, come back up straight. Right leg goes out, left leg comes in. Give it a really tight hug. Cross it over, and there's the bells from Lotus. Meditation is ending. I'm going to lean back into my right sitting bone to open up that outer thigh area. And come back up straight. Send the left leg out. Give the legs a little shake. And then let's bring soles of the feet in so we can get the inner hip joint. Take a hold of the feet. Give yourself a little pull forward. So what I'm doing is opening the front of my spine, opening my chest, pushing my heart forward, and drawing my shoulders back. So I'm really nice and straight in the spine. There's this good line of energy. As I exhale, I'm going to soften the hip joints, soften the knees down toward the floor, and see if I can keep that straight line in my spine as I start to push the heart forward. That's how I'm going to hinge from the hips, by pushing the heart out. Avoid the tendency to collapse the shoulders, drop the head around. So we want to keep that length. And we want to try to feel those little adjustments with our breath. Every inhale, my spine gets longer. Every exhale, the hips get softer. See if there's anywhere that you're holding tension in the body that isn't necessary. Maybe in the face, or the jaw, or the neck. And as you exhale, let that tension go. Come back up and hold the legs together. And then you can come into your comfortable cross-leg position and just see if you have a little bit more freedom in the hips now that we've gone through some of those deeper variations. Namaste.